He thought he got away with stealing from a children's cancer charity, but I had other plans. This is the story of how I brought down not one, but two corrupt bosses who thought they were untouchable. And trust me, justice was more satisfying than I ever imagined. If you've ever worked under someone who made your life a living hell while abusing their power, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this revenge story is going to hit every nerve. And the payoff? Chef's kiss. Let me take you back a few years to when I was juggling two full-time jobs, working as a third-level manager at a crappy grocery store in a bad part of town, and going to college full-time. I was drowning in 50-plus-hour work weeks, exhausted beyond belief, and stuck on night shifts 6 days a week. Why? Because my boss, Dylan, made sure of it. Dylan was the store manager. Not the worst person on the planet, sometimes even decent, but a total manipulator who definitely had sticky fingers. And I mean that literally. People whispered about how he was stealing from the store, though no one could prove it. Yet somehow, he always skated by. Then there was Jim, the assistant manager, a man with a room temperature IQ and an ego inflated by the fact that he owned a motorcycle. He spent his days sitting on his ass while barking orders at the team, doing the bare minimum, and thinking he was God's gift to retail. He was also rumored to be a thief, and again, no proof. So there I was, the only manager most evenings, holding the place together, exhausted and fed up with both of them. But I was patient. I listened. I waited. Then I got my shot. One night, Jim and I were scheduled to work together on some project, probably rearranging shelves or some dumb reset. As we were wrapping up, I was about to count my drawer when Jim told me to wait. He needed to grab some meat for dinner. He comes back with a 5-pound pack of beef, priced at $3. $3. I'd worked the registers long enough to know our pricing. Something was off. He handed me a package with a different label on it, same kind of label we used, just not one that belonged on that product. He'd clearly gone into the butcher room and manually changed the sticker to undercharge himself. I didn't say a word. I just rang him up, smiled, and casually printed an extra copy of the receipt. I tucked it into my pocket and said goodnight. But I wasn't done. The next morning, I opened the store and made a beeline to the butcher room. Sure enough, I found the discarded packaging with the original label in the trash. I even checked the pricing scale. He had manually keyed in the lower price. The label was still saved in the system. I grabbed it all, label, wrapper, receipt. And then I went to the DVR and noted the exact time stamps, when he took the meat, when he went into the butcher room, and when he checked out with me. When Dylan came in at noon, I handed over the evidence with a calm, calculated smile. He called the district manager, Rocky. Jim. Fired the next day. With cause. No unemployment. No sympathy. And me? I got promoted to assistant store manager. Justice served. A few months later, we received a fundraiser packet from St. Jude Children's Hospital, asking for spare change donations to fight childhood leukemia. The kind of thing that makes you believe in humanity again. So I set it up. We collected quarters at the registers. Customers were generous. At the end of the drive, we had raised $250, enough to actually make a difference. I stored the money in the safe. The plan was to send it to St. Jude via Western Union. Dylan offered to handle the transfer. I said okay, but asked for a receipt. He looked at me and said, "They didn't give me one." Something didn't feel right. I let it go, for the moment. 2 weeks later, a letter came from St. Jude. It thanked us for our $50 donation. I was furious. Beyond furious. I wanted to scream, to rip something apart. That money could have helped a kid live to see another birthday, and Dylan took it. He stole from dying children. But I had no proof. Not yet. Almost a year later, Dylan and I were again working late on another project. I had just finished cleaning the floors and noticed I hadn't seen him in a while. I went looking, and the second I heard the hum of the dairy cooler fans, I knew where he was. The cooler door was slightly ajar. I walked in, and there he was, hunched over a shopping cart, stuffing groceries into bags like a raccoon in a dumpster. He jumped when he saw me, stammered out some random story like nothing was happening, and bolted. I said nothing. Played it cool. The next day, Dylan opened the store. I came in around noon, and by then, the cart was gone. But I had a plan. I checked the DVR footage. Boom. There he was. Arriving an hour early, parking his truck right at the front door, hauling the cart of bagged groceries out the cooler, and loading it all into his truck. Then, he locked the doors and left, only to return at his normal start time like nothing happened. Most of the items were in bags, but one thing wasn't: a giant, overpriced pack of paper towels. I checked inventory. Only one was missing. No customers had bought one all week. I pulled the barcode and ran a report for every transaction in the past week. Nothing. Nobody bought it. Perfect. I printed the report, matched it with the DVR footage, and just like that, I had everything I needed. As fate would have it, the area manager, Rod, showed up that very same day. I showed him the evidence. And Dylan? Gone. Fired. No unemployment. No apologies. I didn't yell. I didn't gloat. I didn't even smile when Dylan packed his things and left. But inside, I felt like the world had tilted back into balance. Two power-abusing thieves, gone. One fired for stealing meat. The other for stealing from a children's cancer charity. And me? I'd finally earned the respect and justice I had long been denied. Rocky didn't promote me to Dylan's position, but it didn't matter. I had just finished my degree, and not long after, I walked out of that place for good. No more night shifts. No more covering for idiots. No more playing dumb while the real thieves smiled. Sometimes, the best revenge doesn't come from yelling or fighting back. Sometimes, it comes from watching the people who thought they were untouchable fall on their own swords, while you walk away stronger, smarter, and free. If that revenge gave you chills, smash that like button and share this with someone who's ever had a terrible boss. And tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying justice you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories where karma finally catches up.